This poem is called 50th Wedding Anniversary. Right on time. As we look back on the years gone by, there have been smiles, there have been tears, but as we celebrate tonight, we will call them 50 golden years. Now, as we look at the smiling faces with their hearts so full of love, it is for you, Mom and Dad, that they are thinking of. You were never rich with money or had 100 bills untold, but the love you gave your children was far richer than the gold. The way you loved your children, as you saw all of them were fed, you never asked for very much. You just gave your love instead. Now, as this evening passes by, keep your love light burning bright. It will keep our hearts a-glowing. It will guide us through the night. As the night so quickly passes, and we start another day, reach your hand out to the Lord. He will guide you all the way. This is not my own poem, by the way. It's made by Robert Roth. And
explain about that.
well, I don't really like to explain about the gift. Shall I do that? Dad, are you coming open it, please?
Yeah.
Experience here.
Yeah, they're over it.
Just be careful.
I'll move it just a minute.
Just be careful with it's fragile. Can you maybe just pull it out on the end?
I have mine. Cosmetic baking the floor.
Okay, don't you stay on that. Okay?
Turn it to the camera, please. Good, thank you.
Mom, that picture was made by Webb, but it is a gift to you from Dad. But Webb made
It's
it.
a gift from
It's
It's a gift from me to you for the thanks for giving your daughter to me.
There's a lady that lives here in Epperson, and she writes beautiful poetry. She comes in the store all the time, I know her very well, so I thought you'd like this book. And I also have made something for you myself. Don't worry about where we just go to it.
Like me.
Yeah, you can always call on Steve.
Show two hands.
Good show.
Has been recorded.
Sophie.
Public speaking. I don't want to do a poem.
Here comes the big piece of paper.
I hope you're not expecting anything because you're not going to get anything. I've done a little bit original here. Now you listen carefully. This is good. The family insisted a poem I should write and read it aloud on this wonderful night. Make it funny, they said, and for once in your life, make mom and dad proud and also your wife. I hemmed and I hawed and I hope I could find my usual enthusiasm a way out of this bind. I protested and stalled as much as I could, but knew it was hopeless and conceded I should write the world's greatest poem, so clever and fine that a few of the words would actually rhyme. The poem's so good you could sell it for money. See, I told you this thing in the end would be funny. So here it goes, to mom and to dad, from your family and friends, the good and the bad. We wish you the best with shouting and tears and look forward to the next 50 fun years. And along with the wishes, a gift for your wall, the second brother's wallet, and above all, may the Lord grant in the life that you share, and keep you together in His love and His care. Thank you.
Don't burn it.
And Gerda is going to read that letter to you right now.
I phoned Alice and I said, just because you're not coming doesn't mean you're going to get off scot-free. And you make up this poem. So she got even. And she made a poem 6 pages long. So get comfy, it's going to take a minute. 1940, 1990. Oh, woe is me, I've just been told a poem I must write about 2 people dear to me. Oh, I forgot all night. They married 50 years ago. Mom was so pretty then. My father, young and handsome. I wish I could have seen him when. This writing of a poem, oh, what a feat. I'll start at the beginning then. How did these lovebirds meet? Truce and her sister Yenny were strolling one Sunday eve. They saw 2 fellas, best friends. The girls thought, hey, let's tease. Class and Cornelius were busy at this and at that. Actually, they were buying snacks at the local automat. Snacks they were buying to go, which on Sundays is a definite no-no. The boys were teased unmercifully. But then, sister thought, these fellas are quite cute. And then, in a word, I could do much worse. So Truce and Yenny, the 2 Stell girls, set out to get their man. My mother had a mission. I wish I could have known her then. They formed a quartet and courted. Truce, Klaas, Yenny, and Cornelis went out together for many a year. Then Yenny and Cor were married. Klaas said to Truce, how about us next, my dear? So Truce and Klaas set the wedding date, April 18th, 1940, just prior to the war. Since Dad was in the army, poor Mom could only hope he would be there. But sure he did, and they said their I do's, or in their case, their yas. And in a matter of minutes, Truce became the wife of Klaas. That evening, after the party was over, the dishes together they did. Poor Dad promptly broke 2 wine glasses. So Mom said, no more dishes, Klaas. Thus the beginning of who was going to be the last. When Truce woke up in the morning, her dear husband was gone. Oh no, she thought, now I've done it. We sure weren't married long. Poor Dad was back on his army base, where he would spend many a day for the next few years, and he also would spend some time in the enemy's jail. After all was said and done, I think he was quite a man. And if I could have one wish in my life, I wish I could have known him then. This is the pits, poor Class, she thought. But soon the poor captive was free to go home to his wife and 3 little ones. That was a joyous time indeed. And by the way, this poets must say it didn't take long and their youngest daughter was on the way. Then after quite some lengthy time, 6 years to be exact, one more son came along, cute and tough, and with 5 kids to clothe and feed, Mom and Dad found it going rough. So in August of the year 1957, to Canada the family went. It was the thing to immigrate. They simply followed the trend. They settled down in Edmonton. Life was very good there, and after various jobs and many a caper, Dad got a job at the local newspaper. Then the oldest girl, Gerda, at the young age of 18, said, Dad, I found my true love. There will be no more waiting. I want to get married to my dear darling Webb. Dad said to Mom, getting married at her age did what's effect. Class said to his daughter, of this nonsense of marriage no more will be said until you are 19 and then you may wed. So true to her word, 2 days after her birthday, Gerda and Webb took their vows. They now have 4 children, not one of them boys. Class introduced number 2 son, Gary, met his wife at his best friend's house. But it took a few years before Kathy became his spouse. The oldest son, Hans, met his wife on the bus. Riding along one day, he spotted a lovely girl by the name of Kara. It didn't take long for Hans to snare her. The youngest son, Nico, a rogue and a rascal, met his wife at work. He said to himself, Nick, don't be a jerk. So he dated this beauty. She became his wife, Judy. They had 3 children, and I'm happy to say that they didn't stop there, as there's one on the way. One by one, their children left them, but to their surprise, and true to their fears, the youngest, prettiest daughter, Alice, lived with them for years and years and years. But one fine morning, at breakfast, just before she went to work, Alice said, Mom, I'm getting married. Bye now, I can't tarry. And for your information, his name is Harry. This can't be true, poor mother thought. I don't know any Harry. Oh, woe is me. Alice wants to marry. And who, may I ask, is that guy called Harry? 4 months later, they were married. And at long last, Alice left home. Mom and Dad looked at each other, and Mom said, Class, again we're alone. Class said, please don't worry, Mother. We walk with the Lord, and we still have each other. Oh yes, they now have 10 grandchildren, with 1 more on the way, and also 4 great-grandchildren are with us here today. She was beautiful, and he was handsome. I wish I could have seen them when, and also I wish I could be here today, but in my thoughts and prayers, dear Mom and Dad, I am with you on this your day. Mom and Dad, happy 50th anniversary. Much love from Allie, Harry, Chris, and Josh. P.S. See you on Friday, the Lord willing.
Ja, ik heb de ook een poen voor haar. Okay, yeah, I wrote a poem too, and I'm not a good poet either. But mine's called The Pitcher. It started 50 years ago when Klaas, he married Kloos. They pledged that day to be as one and never let each other loose. So off to church they go to exchange their ideas. And when the ceremony was done, and they had left the church as one, a picture must be taken to commemorate the news. I have that picture in my hand, and must to you confess, I couldn't even tell you the color of Teresa's dress. And of the flowers that she holds before her in plain view, we really do not know. Now are they white, yellow, or blue? And look at Klaas just standing there so tall and debonair. Perhaps his suit was black or brown, but what color was his hair? 50 years have come and gone, and still this picture lingers, and I can't help but wondering as I hold it in my fingers, what did they look like way back when in April 1940? I wasn't there the day they wed to recollect the sight, and this picture, it tells nothing else in brilliant black and white. Now we are here with them today to celebrate their 50, and it is plain for all to see that they look very nifty. And here's that picture after 50 years, a little duller. And now I give you Klaas and Truus, alive and in living color. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, and many more to come. Love, Nico, Judy, Angela, Destiny, and Corey, and one yet to be named.
Okay, thank you.
As I sit down and start to jot, I fear I'm not as witty as this lot, but I will try to do my best and give this brain of mine a test. We wish you all the very best. Now soon I'll put my pen to rest. Remember God our Savior looks on those with favor, those who on his mercy trust, and that's Psalm 33, verse 18. Keep looking to the one above, who has blessed you in the past. He holds the future in his hands, and he will hold you fast.
Very nice.
I didn't even say
Pure gold. Pure gold. It's golden down there.
Golden. Let's go. Well, right now I don't have any.
Hold her up, huh?
Yeah.
Hold it there. Good.
It's a type of full card. That's it.
Nick and Margaret are next.
It is original and is thought out and is something that we can make our contribution to tonight. You see, a number of years ago, Olga approached me and he said, you know, I've got these memoirs and they're in my diary and they're in my head and I'd really like to get them in a written form. And Margaret, I know that you're just kind of a whiz there with your fingers on the typewriter and the computer and whatnot, and I'd like for you to do my memoirs. And I fully agreed. I thought this would be great. I'd get to know a lot about my grandfather and my grandmother that I've probably never known before, and I certainly did do that. Well, it's got to be quite the book, and this is my edition. I put it in a binder and I keep it away, make sure the little guy doesn't get at it. But anyway, it is as my first editions in this book say, not exactly perfect, but I didn't want to change anything of what Opa had written that was personable and about himself and his situations. There's no way that I could ever do that. But what I have come up with, and I was hoping to use my talents and my ways about the computer, didn't turn out that way, but that's okay, to come up with something for you that would be original and something a little bit different. But anyway, what I've come up with is a title page or a cover page for your memoirs. And this is, well, like a lot of other things that I do, not as artistic as everybody else in the family, but it is my own creation. We have up here the Huguenot's cross, a very important part and a very important symbol of what I know my grandfather, his devotion and his love for God and Christ. And I've always loved this symbol. I think it's unique and it's certainly different. So I incorporated into this cover page. The windmill, of course, for Holland and where you first originated from. And the Canadian flags for where you now are, Canada. And there are 5 because you have 5 children. And just because they work nice together that way. So, I'd like to present, and I'd like to present this to you. And for anybody who does have an edition of Opa's book, I know I make copies. I do have others, so everybody can have a chance to have one. Thank you.
Next we have Lisa, Lorna, and Patricia. They are doing a story, I believe, and it's entitled, This Is Your Life.
See this sign? It says applause. So whenever you see it flash, you know what to do, right? Well, I was going to have a dry run, but I think you know the idea. Oba, Oba, this is your life. A baby girl is born. The date, March 23rd, 1913. Extra, extra, read all about it. First child born to Het and Hedgestelle. The proud parents named her Gertrude. During the 27 years that she lived in Holland, she became a sister to Jenny, Kees, Jean, Jan, Kay, and Het. She went to school in Orange School in Zwolle, and at the age of 13, she already had to start working. Life was hard, but she knew that someday her prince would come. Somewhere else in Zwolle, a baby boy is born. The date, July 8, 1913. The 4th and last child born to Asha and Alja Visscher. The proud parents named him Klaas. During the 27 years he lived in Holland, he became a brother to Klaasien, Riek, and Hank. He went to school at the Hoedstede School. He started to work when he was 18. And at the age of 19, he was in the army for 6.5 months. You also knew that someday a lady would walk into your life. There she was, just walking down the street. Then it happened. At an automatic food dispensary on Sunday night in 1945. Gertrude and her sister Jenny were out for a walk, checking out the action
too. He was with his friend Cor Mayhorst, and she caught them buying new croquettes.
Where you two actually broke up once, but true love did prevail, and on March 23rd, 1938, you were engaged. However, getting married was not easy because Holland was preparing for war and Class had to join the mobilization of the army for a year. The wedding day was drawing near, but even the night before the glorious day, you were still not sure whether or not the wedding could take place. Her class had not yet received permission to attend his wedding.
Then it happened. April 18th, 1940. Your wedding day finally arrived. A civil ceremony was at 10 a.m. and was followed by the church service at 11 by Reverend Munich at the Zwartekerk in Zwolle. Your wedding text was Psalm 33, verse 18, which reads, "Behold, the eye of the Lord is on those who fear him, on those who hope in his steadfast love." This has been a source of great comfort for you over the years. The bride wore a beautiful royal blue dress made by her sister. She had 2 carnations in her hair, and the bouquet was also made of carnations. The groom looked dashing in his navy blue suit. The army graciously granted you 3 days for a honeymoon. Then Class had to go back to the army. 3 weeks after your wedding on May 5th, 1940, war broke out in Holland.
The next 5 years were trying, but they also brought many blessings. For on March 26, 1941, your first child was born, a son. You named him Hans. Then on June 21st, 1942, your second child was born, a daughter. You named her Gerda. Next, on January 11th, 1945, a third child and a second son was born. You named him Gary. January 21st, 1947, brought the second girl, Alice. The ratio is now even, 2 boys, 2 girls. Then finally, on December 2nd, 1953, Cleek was born. He was the tiebreaker.
Last but not least.
You decided to move to Canada, and on August 5th, 1957, you did just that, arriving in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada on August 16th. The first 2 weeks were spent with Class's brother, Hank, and his wife, Faye. From then on, you moved 4 times. In the meantime, Class gets a construction job, and in his spare time, works for Mr. Ponton, who always said, "We didn't do much, but we learned a lot." Class also worked at the Journal for 15 years. Gertrude, on the other hand, was a happy homemaker, who on the side did some babysitting. By your 5th anniversary, you already have your first 3 children, Hans, Gerda, and Gary. By your 10th anniversary in 1950, you have 4 children. The addition was Alice. By your 15th anniversary, you have all 5 children, Hans, Gerda, Gary, Alice, and Nick. Your first 17 years are spent in Zwolle, Holland. Your 20th anniversary in 1960 brings a new country and a new life.
Your silver anniversary on April 18, 1965 comes and goes. Your first daughter is married to Webb Zelnros, and you already have 2 granddaughters, Monica and Margaret. Your 30th anniversary comes and goes. Gary marries Kathleen Merkis, and Hans marries Kara Buckingham. Now you have 3 granddaughters. But, you know, I just can't remember the name of her. You know, she's so tall, gorgeous blonde hair, green eyes. But anyways, then it's now 1970. Your 35th anniversary comes and goes. You now have 5 granddaughters.
We were born! Your 40th anniversary comes and goes. Your last son, Nick, gets married to Judy Nette. You now have 6 granddaughters. The addition was Angela. It's now 1980. Your 45th anniversary comes and goes. Your last daughter, Alice, gets married to Harry Van Delden. And your 2 oldest granddaughters get married, Monica to Alan DeWitt and Margaret to Nick Mullenkamp. You now have 8 granddaughters. Destiny and Christine were added. 1 grandson, Corey, and 1 great-granddaughter, Amanda. It's now your 50th anniversary, April 18th, 1990. You have the grand total of 8 granddaughters, 2 grandsons, Joshua was added, 2 great-granddaughters, Stephanie was added, and 2 great-grandsons, Nicholas and Wesley.
Yes, O Sonomas, this is your life, a happy one indeed. You have received many blessings. May the Lord continue to bless you as a couple in the time that you have left together, just as He has done in the last 50 years. The end.
We're going to eat it again.
There are a number of other gifts here, and let's see, I believe this is from Tante Faye and Reg and Alice. Yeah? Okay, so I'll just bring that over to you, Mom.
Unless Stephen comes over. And then he'll work his way through in a couple of days, right?
Also, there's a gift century of wedded life and responsibility. The Visscher celebrate their anniversary, surrounded by...
Nice, eh? Okay, now we're gonna find your...
Hold on.
Down.
Kathy's fine. Are you in the picture too? Sure.
No, but...
Okay.
No.
Cheese.
Okay?
Everybody looking over here?
Yeah.
Okay, next, I'm looking.
Thank you, please. What's there? Thank you.